I see the point of difference in this game being the Kangaroos' talls. The Melbourne Football Club are depleted in their tall stocks, obviously. No Lauren Pearce, no Taylor Harris. That's the point of difference here. If the talls can get control for North, I see them going a long way towards victory.
And it does feel like a big afternoon for Melbourne, doesn't it? They sat top of the table entering the final round last season. They lost 3 straight to be bundled out in straight sets. They're 1-1 this season. So all up, Kate, they've lost 4 of their last 5 starts, which is their worst run in AFLW history. What are you expecting from the D's this afternoon?
Yeah, well, the big question around the D's this afternoon for me is, can they find another avenue to goal? They've got Kate Hoare, who's been dynamic. She kicked 3 goals in the first game against Geelong, 1 goal last week as well. They've kicked 8 goals for the season. Kate Hoare's kicked 4 of them. They need Eden Zanker to start to earn her way back into the game and hitting the scoreboard. She's been competitive, needs to score though. So I'll be interested to see whether Hoare spends a little bit more time forward than in the midfield.
Well, Casey Fields is renowned for having its own weather system. Let's check the conditions this afternoon as we welcome Nat and Ketch, boundary side.
It sure is, Jace, but it's 13 degrees, but the sun is shining, Ketchy, and surprise, surprise, there's actually no wind. What is this?
It's unheard of for Casey Fields, but I think it's going to make a spectacle of a game, and I think that's what people want in this round.
Certainly is going to be a spectacle. Some milestones too for for Melbourne. We'll start with Paxi Paxman. 75th AFLW game. Blaheen Mackin also plays game 25, and a little surprise for her pre-game.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, the Irish girls are so far away from their family, so it's amazing that her brother was here to surprise her on a small milestone, but it's a milestone.
So Bella Eddy also playing game 50, as is Sarah Wright, who actually played her first ever AFLW game here at Casey Fields. A big day for the milestone players, but it's an even bigger occasion for one Libby Birch, who crossed over to North Melbourne at the end of last season. You know what it's like to face off against your former side. How would she be feeling?
She'll be feeling just like she's done this before with the Doggies and now with North Melbourne. And, you know, she's nervous, but she really wants to just go and play her best football. And obviously she wants to prove a point. And, you know, just having the last 2 weeks under her belt, she's been playing really well. She's in a premiership form, so it's going to be a really good game for her.
And as we know, Jace, flags seem to follow Libby Birch wherever she goes.
Thanks, Nat. Darren Crocker's certainly hoping so. Darren Crocker, into his 5th season in charge at Arden Street. He's had a great senior core to work with as they chase that elusive first premiership K-Mac, and a key piece of that core has been midfielder Ash Riddell, one of the best two-way workers in the competition, as evidenced by a career average of 25 disposals and 5 tackles a game.
Yeah, and the most impressive part of it has been her ability to hit the scoreboard. So she's kicked a goal last week and kicked a goal in the first match against the Lions. She just accumulates really, really well, but she's starting to damage far more. 30 disposals, but 7 score involvements and a goal of her own to go with it.
Spoke about Melbourne's talls being depleted at the front end of the ground, but also at the back end of the ground, as Nat mentioned. Libby Birch now playing for North Melbourne, so that leaves the D's with Talia Gillard, Gabby Colvin as their key defensive pillars. They'll have their hands full this afternoon, the likes of Talia Randall, Kate Shearlaw and Emma King.
Yeah, and Goldrick and Mackin, who have previously played in defence, have actually had to be shifted into the midfield to get that run and gun, which has looked really good for them, but they're sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Their defensive stocks have been a little bit weaker. Last week we saw them get opened up through the talls of the Lions. So as I said pre-game, if they can get their talls going in this game, North Melbourne, I see them going a long way towards victory.
Melbourne 6-2 against the Kangas in AFLW history. Their last meeting, as I mentioned, that qualifying final last season, North Melbourne dominated that game by 41 points to end Melbourne's premiership defence. Well, form lines suggest this could be a thriller. They've both played Geelong in the last 2 weeks. Melbourne won by 2 points. The Roos played a draw, suggesting they could be evenly matched. 2 great AFLW rivals in a round 3 clash that could set the tone for their seasons. Melbourne and North at Casey Fields on a perfect day. And away goes Ash Riddell. First inside 50 of the game for the Kangas. Bruton immediately tackled, taken down by Colvin.
Shelley Heath has gone and stood behind Jazz Garner at that first centre clearance. I'll keep an eye on it, whether it's a run with roll at stoppage or a heavy tag. Obviously, Ali Anderson, 43 disposals last week against Melbourne. I don't think they'll take that long to react to those possessions.
Smithen tried to beat the tackler. Kick was affected. Gats kicked towards the goal square. Some early pressure here for the Melbourne defence, and they do it well. McNamara puts it into the path. Fitzsimon, he goes short and finds Bannon.
Another forward that can be dynamic. Really want to see her get into the game and get some space in the forward 50.
Kick in the middle of the ground. Zanker comes hard at the football. Riddell, pressured by McNamara. Here's Hanks. Bannon Flips a handball. McNamara. Hanks, short kick. The very bare minimum distance to Lily Mithen. Thought about going laterally. Instead, she'll kick the centre half forward. There's Carney, and they've got to find a way around Emma Carney this afternoon.
Yeah, if Carney doesn't get you right, or Ferguson or even Birch will with those intercept, and then here we go again, the handball receives.
King to Bresnahan. Searching kick inside 50. Good presentation from Randall. They all went to ground. Wall kept her feet. Open goal, Shearlaw. Kangas on the board. Good start for North Melbourne, attacking straight up the middle of the ground. They create and launch so much from half back. Kate Shearlaw gets on the end of it for her third goal of the season. Good start for the 35-year-old veteran playing her 8th season at AFLW level. Started at Carlton, then on to St Kilda, and then North Melbourne last season.
Well, if you could draw up a carbon copy of how they want to score their goals, Jace, it's what we just saw then. An intercept mark, Emma Carney kicks it through the corridor, handball received, get it in long to the tools, Vicky Wall, front and centre, handball out to Shearlaw. It's just absolute textbook from the North Melbourne Kangaroos.
And we spoke to Melbourne coach Mick Stanier during the week, and he said leading into this game, it's exactly what they don't want to do. They can't just bomb it forward because North will punish you on the counter, and that's what happened there. So the D's are getting their hands on the football early. Bannon tried to slap it to Goldrick. Gap breaks that up. Off to right. She's been released to play a little more offensively with the arrival of Libby Birch. Here goes Garner. Searching kick inside 50 to a one-on-one. Randall against Gillard. On the deck. North have got numbers around this one. Melbourne need to get some bodies around the football. It's socket to a dangerous position. Here's Shearlaw. Bounces at goalward, gets the kind bounce, and Kate's got two. Great start for Kate Shearlaw. And the Kangas with two on the board in the opening 3 minutes.
Again, another contest and just really willing the ball. They all kept their feet, the North Melbourne players, whereas the Melbourne players went to ground. A little bit of a silly soccer forward, should have bent down and picked that one up from Melbourne because you're bringing it straight to the front of the contest. It was Bannon. She's great at ground level as well. Could have picked it up, drove her legs out of there and then slapped it on the boot rather than a little toe poke.
Great start for the Kangas. 2 goals in the first 3 minutes. Melbourne need to settle here. Winning the football around the middle of the ground, but it's twice now that Kangas have stopped them at half forward and turned them around and sent it back with interest.
It's so hard to defend, though, as Melbourne defenders, the way the ball's coming in at the moment, they're all very isolated. So the mids and the defenders, and the forwards from Melbourne need to just create a bit more of a scrap at ground level.
Heath taken down by Gatt. Campbell to Heath. Hammered in the tackle and gone. King got her first and Riddell finished her off. King to Carney. There's that run from behind again. Tumbles the kick towards Bruton at half forward. Eddie couldn't get a kick away. Paxman toe pokes it. Only as far as Carney. Another inside 50 for the Kangaroos. Well done, Colvin. Tackled by Craven. Had to release quickly. Randall left it behind. Bannon, Mithen, she swamped. Bresnahan keeps it moving. Carney spreads it wide, finds Craven 55 out. She'll go towards the pocket. It was touched by Bannon. Opportunity, Shearlaw. Off to Bruton. Bends it across the body. Paxman got a fist in. Eddie did well. Kept it alive. Bends it goalward. It's going to be a defensive mark for the D's in the goal square. Mark is taken by Macken. She goes long looking for Heath. Down the line towards the wing. Bouncing football. Will be gathered in by King. Thought about the give to Ferguson, instead went back to right. Toe pokes it to Bresnahan and they can hold it up.
Just need to take some time when they do have the football, Melbourne. They're trying to go as fast as North are. If they just settle a little bit once they can get a mark, that time they had no players forward of the ball to go to.
Randall's looking dangerous forward. Mithen to Mackin. Laheen blasts it out of there. O'Loughlin, in fact it's King. Nice kick to Craven. Sheila offers the lead. Craven ignores that. We'll go longer and deeper. Randall attracts a crowd. Gillard couldn't find it on the deck. Melbourne hold it up.
Some beautiful ball use at the top of 50. We've seen 2 kicks now change direction, which has opened the far side of the ground. Would have loved Tess Craven to hit Sheila there one-on-one, and she's already kicked 2 goals.
Randall out of the ruck. Flying shot at goal.
So, Jace, when your forward is up and running and they've kicked 2 and they're one-on-one on a lead, get it into them, because when they're playing with confidence, anything can happen. And Kate Sheila is a player that when she's confident, she's very hard to stop.
And conversely, her opponent's low on confidence right now. So you can capitalise on that. Mithen. Now McNamara, received from Lampard. Kick it straight into Randall, which hurt Talia. But Talia will get on the end of it, the beneficiary of her own good work. Paxman's back there in defence. Can Paxi set something up?
Just need to slow down here, take some time.
A little bit of meaningful possession for the D's. String some chains together. This is Heath. She goes down the line. Gall used the body. It's a 2-on-2 out there. Zanka wins the football, tries to get it to Gall, needs some smalls in support. Heath arrives now. Clever tap on. Bannon leaves it for Hanks. High shot going North's way. It's coming back to Sarah Wright.
Zanka did some really good work over the other side, was outnumbered and needed to impact, brought it to ground. I thought they were going to get away with the stoppage, but ended up giving up the free kicks.
This is where North are dangerous, launching from half-back. Good kick from Chaplin. Sends it back from whence it came. Nice turn from Bannon. Looks inside. Good kick too. Finds Hall. Now what she got inside 50. Bounces in front of Zanka. But Ferguson is an opponent early. Craven comes through to support. Carney goes down. She's swamped. Umpire calls for it.
It's the first look we've seen at a forward 50 stoppage, their first inside 50 of the game. Melbourne, can they get some time in their forward half now? Build a wall behind this.
Zanka do the ruck work against King. His Hall. Taking a ground drive, Tripodi. Ball comes back to Kate Hall. Tripodi in there scrapping hard. Zanka, can she muscle her way out? Soccers it into some space. Maybe a chance here for Melbourne to work onto this. They do. Bannon, McNamara, goal! D's get a steadier. Exactly what Melbourne needed. It was hard work getting it inside 50 for the first time, but they managed to lock it in, and then they managed to get it out into space. McNamara on the board. Her first goal of the season, a timely one.
It was well worked by the Demons, and this is where sometimes the space is at the back of a forward 50 stoppage. It was some really nice work from Bannon to pick up the ground ball and feed it back, and it wasn't just McNamara that was out. There was 2 or 3 Melbourne players, and if you do defend really hard at the source, that's where sometimes you have the opportunities as either wingers or defenders coming into a forward 50 stoppage.
It's almost the reverse scenario at the other end, wasn't it, when the ball spat out into space? Dangerous position. North Melbourne 6-1 in the clearances so far. Tripodi's got this one at centre-half forward, and she's wrestled the ground.
And I love what McNamara's been able to do after a very, very tough year last year, coming back from a horrific injury. They've played her through the wing and half-back, and I really like the role for her.
Such a talented player. It's just wonderful to see her back. Let alone playing great footy, that's a bonus. Craven, like an NFL centre, flipped it between her legs. Throw called. Paxman. Penetrating kick. It's a good grab from Birch. Good early touch for Libby. Good for her confidence against her old team. Links up with Gat. Chips it. Wall lost it in the sun. Then thunders into Gillard. Paxman on clean-up duty. Mithen taken to ground. Illegal disposal, North Melbourne ball. Taylor Gatt has it.
Just ferocious pressure at the moment from North Melbourne. Anytime the ball's in a 50-50 contest or there's a player to be tackled, they're hitting hard.
Sets it up for King in the pocket. Gets to the back for Watt. Lampard pokes the kick. It's good for Mithun. This is where they need some composure and some skill
better.
execution. This
Better
is Pisano. Chips it wide for Paxman. She'll go down the line. Can Goldrick use her speed against O'Shea? Has to find it on the ground. Pisano comes in support, but North have the numbers. Ferguson. Birch. Now Rennie. She squares it up to Garner. Pops a handball over the top. And away goes Riddell through the middle of the ground. Wall the target. O'Loughlin. Read it nicely off the back of the pack. Bends it goalward. Can't quite get the angle.
O'Loughlin out last week with that suspension. They really missed her in the forward line. You see how lively she is. So Bella Eddy herself and Vicky Wall down there. Just such a dynamic forward line when the ball goes on the ground, and then you've got their tools as well. So hard to defend them. But Melbourne really been impressed with the way they've worked themselves back into this contest. They've been able to take some of the momentum back on their terms and get some time with the ball in possession.
Lampard's kick through the hands of O'Shea. Now she's got a fight on the deck. Beasley committed the body. Riddell turns tackler on Goldrick. That was a throw.
There's just no need to really get that ball out. She could have conceded the tackle and got a stoppage. Instead, now it's going straight back inside forward 50.
Riddell to Rennie to Carney. Randall off the pack. Can she finish, Talia? Not quite. She's got a bit of pressure on the kick. Floats wide again. Looking dangerous, so Talia Randall presenting full-chested at the football.
Holding up quite well inside defensive 50 though, Melbourne. They've conceded 13 inside 50s to 1, but Kangaroos only scored the 2 goals.
Paxman likes the match up for Zanka. He works right underneath it. McNamara works hard to provide an option. That is a really dangerous kick. North have got numbers around this. Huge ball to be won. It's flipped over the top. Melbourne have got to go in defensive mode now. That's a high shot. Umpire spotted it. It's going to Gatt. Advantage paid. O'Shea scoots away. Kicks it to space. Then we'll go and find her own kick. Mackett came in to put some pressure on. Fitzsimon fed it back to Gillard. He bounces the football to half forward. It's Bresnahan. Look out! Goldrick runs her down. Came from the blind side. So Zanker will set up inside 50, but she's got a couple to beat. Hence, Goldrick went to pull the kick. But well done, Amy Smith.
Just letting themselves down with some poor decision-making with the footy in hand. That was a fantastic tackle from Goldrick. Just needed to take a minute. They got the turnover. Unless you go straight away, take your time and just wait for something to open up.
Allow the forwards to set themselves.
Especially when you've had one inside 50 for the quarter and the other team's had 13. Just take some time, set up well, get the ball in and get a pack.
Trippitt. Cody rather goes to Sheila, has had a great start. The first couple of goals. Goldrick read the kick but ran underneath it, which allowed Bresnahan to take the grab. Good defensive work. Mackett arrived just in time and then found her boot. This will work for Goldrick. Now the speeds to Pisano. She could go all the way. Alicia has a couple of bounces. Runs to 50. Pops it over the top for Zanka. It may bounce through. Oh, Eden's grabbed it. It just sat up. She was going to let it bounce. It just popped up. And there was a chance Ferguson could have got to it.
She was trying to do the team thing. Oh, she did everything she could to make sure that went through, but Pisano could have kept running. She should have kept running so that Ferguson had to come to her, so there was a decision to be made.
Pisano trying to do the team thing, getting it to Zanka. Has got the left leg to just go all the way herself, as we saw. It all but went through. Opportunity goes begging for the D's. Smith cuts it inside. Here's Goldrick again, who's being important. This time she does just settle down, take a moment, spot something from behind. It's Paxman. Will want her right side. Flips it to Hall. Sets it up inside 50, needs a contest, but ball goes to ground and Birch picks it off. right towards the boundary line, and the D's can at least set up inside their own forward 50 here.
So the positives to take out of this, if you're Melbourne, it's 13 inside 50s to 3. Arguably, they should be 1 point down in this game. So against the team that is the most efficient inside 50 so far for the competition, North Melbourne, they've had 13 inside 50s. They've only scored 2 goals. On the flip side, North have somehow got to make a little bit more bang for their buck.
Mackett's quick kick out of the pack finds Fitzsimon. And a chance here for Megan to go back and kick her first of the season.
You'd really say the last 10 minutes of this game has been played on Melbourne's terms. They've been able to hold up defensively, then they've been able to get the ball forward, a little bit more composure with ball in hand, and they'd be in front.
And they've won a couple of clearances as well, Kate. They were getting smacked on the inside early.
It's so important when you're playing against North Melbourne as well.
Got to take your chances here. Can Fitzsimon do just that? 30 out, gets underneath it, and gets it home. Megan Fitzsimon kicks the 7th goal of her 37-game career. Melbourne have responded with a couple and scores a level. We've played 16.5 minutes at Casey Fields.
This quick kick out, and it's when you least expect it, but that is very, very poor defence from North Melbourne. When there's a stoppage inside your defensive 50, it's lockdown. It doesn't matter who has your player, you go and find one. Usually it's a spare defender. That time it was a spare forward, which is just a complete breakdown in defence.
A couple of goals so important for Melbourne's confidence here. They know they're in this game now. They can compete with the Kangas. Riddell's handball to no one in particular. McNamara hunts it. Coming the other way was Eddie, did really well, was clean. Got it to King, who squeezed a kick through to Sheelaw. She goes quickly, bounces an inside 50. Gillard got out there first, couldn't control it. Was picked up by Grace Hill. She's wrapped up.
Paxman been huge in the last 5 minutes, leading ball winner on the ground with the 8 disposals.
King lays it down for Riddell. Tackle just got there in time. Dangerous position here for Melbourne. McNamara needs some support. That's not going to get to the line. Bruton fumble. Still alive for Craven. Well done, McNamara. Just muscled her over the line, and they can set up with 2.5 to play.
So I want to see one of the North smalls. You've got O'Loughlin just lingering behind the stoppage. Want to see her get on the move here. Get a block from Riddell or Craven that's in there. See if you can manufacture something here with the dominant that you've had in the ruck.
Trying to get it down to Mia King. Paxman swoops onto it. Punches it down the line. Bresnahan got a hand on it and get over the back. Zanka now wants a contest against Randall, who used the body superbly. Look out, Bresnahan. Almost taken down by Gall. It affected the kick. Pisano got crunched. Play on the call. Back towards Paxman. She's got some composure to hold things up. Thought about Mithen, then realised it was probably a little too aggressive late in the turn. Colvin's called to go. Goldrick's just come off the bench. Randall couldn't quite get there. Sinead played on because she saw the numbers, but sold Pisano into trouble, who then laid a high tackle on Craven. You could see the thought process for Sinead. She had numbers forward, but just rushed the handball and missed the target.
Yeah, and with 1:30 to go in a game where it's 13 all and you've had no territory really, just chew the clock, take that mark, take the time that you can.
Randall given a couple of metres, and that's all she needs. Launches it back inside 50. Colvin will come with the spoil. It'll get over the back. Chaplin uses McNamara. Fumble, put herself under pressure, and fortunately for her, Eddie collected her high, much to Bella's frustration. Now McNamara with the dangerous switch late in the turn. That's a terrible bounce for Mackin. Gillard came in and laid the tackle. Mackin's pickup was clean. And she can escape to Mithen. He's got Fitzsimon on the wing, or a runner through the middle. It's Heath. Hoare, back to Heath. Nice build-up, Melbourne. 35 seconds. Now it's Goldrick. Back to Heath again. Here's a chance for goal. She turns. Left foot snap. Can't give the D's the lead.
Oh, she had 2 players. She had 2 players goal side of her. She just needed to give a handball to Bannon, who would have run into an open goal. That was poor. Just share the footy. They'd done all of the hard work to get all the way back down in there. That's a goal that's just been left out there.
Out of bounds on the full, a kickback from Craven. But it's been a great response from Melbourne in the main, Kate. They were played off the park in the first few minutes. North jumped them, but they've steadied and got themselves into the contest. Booth stands up, Eddie in the tackle.
Have a look here as the ball's coming through. 4 players there. Needed the handball here as this last one goes in. Just handball it to Bannon. She would have run into an open goal and kicked it.
Composure and decision-making is so important. And at quarter time, these two teams can't be separated. They've been wonderful rivals over the years, both perennial contenders, there and thereabouts, season after season. And at quarter time, on a perfect day at Casey Fields, it's 2-1-13 apiece.
All right, folks, quarter time here, 2-1-13 each of two. That's a cracking game so far. These two good sides, of course. North Melbourne playing good football, so is Melbourne. Melbourne could have had an extra goal. And of course, the forward, she had to take the ball and go for a kick, but took it over the line. But that's all right, 2-1-13. It's a great game. North Melbourne came out strong, of course, as we thought they would. But Melbourne came back with the last 2 goals of the first quarter. And for a good game, tell you what, the sun's shining. It's a beautiful day down there at Casey Fields in Melbourne. No wind to speak of. Perfect day for football. Shout out to Harvey, who's came in, Bianca. Tine Ben Middle of shout out, go up a day. And Sniper, what's happening, Sniper? I suppose if some saw on the chat, I was going to originally do the Adelaide Hawthorn game. Just let me update you on that game. Quarter time over there in that game, and it's Hawthorn by 1 point. Hawthorn 1-2, and Adelaide is 1-7. 8-7 Hawthorn lead over there. Yeah, I went to do that game, but then I couldn't find the game on KO, so I had to quickly switch and get on to this game, Melbourne and Hawthorn. Let's go and have a look. Just in case I didn't show the lineups, there were the lineups for this game. Melbourne, in comes Gall and out goes Witherspoon. And of course for North Melbourne, in comes O'Shea, O'Loughlin, and out goes Burke and Martin. There are the team lineups. Let's just have a little bit of a look at the team stats. Who's getting the ball today? And of course, that's Paxi Paxman. Gotta love that name, Paxi Paxman. Oh, son, all good stuff there for Melbourne. Leading possession getter with 10. That's a good number so far. Having a good first quarter. 8 kicks, 2 handballs, 3 marks. Ash Riddell there, best on ground so far for North Melbourne with the 8 disposals, 5 kicks, 3 handballs, a couple of tackles. So plenty of the girls there getting plenty of the ball. It's a pretty good game here down here at Casey Fields. Good back and forward play. Both defences reasonably well holding up there. It's good to see. A good bit of run the girls are getting through the midfield, down the wing and switching through the corridor. So that's great to see. Let's just have a little bit of a look at the goal scorers. Of course, we've only got 3 goal scorers, and the only goal scorer for North Melbourne is a multiple goal scorer. That's Kate Sherlaw. She's got 2 goals from her 6 disposals, 4 kicks. 4 kicks, 2 goals. Well done, Kate. Good job. Eliza McNamara, Megan Fitzsimon there for Melbourne. Both single goal scorers. Megan going well there. 1 kick, 1 goal. 4 kicks for Eliza for 1 goal. Good stuff. All right, quick look at the team stats. As it says, reasonably even game across the board, apart from the inside 50s disposal. Only 3 the difference, but the inside 50s, 16 to North Melbourne, scoring 3 scoring shots. But have a look at Melbourne. Only 4 inside 50s. They need to get it in there a fair bit more if they want to have a chance to win this game. But tell you what, their score ratio is pretty good. Inside 50 4 times for 3 scoring shots. As you see, going at 75% efficiency, pretty good. North Melbourne on top with the free kicks. 6-3 stoppages. All pretty even there. Hit-outs, North Melbourne by 2. Clearances by 1. Centre clearances by 1. Stoppage clearances all tied up. Possession contested. North Melbourne a little bit harder, uncontested, 42-44, and the turnovers 22-20, all pretty well even, as is the marks 19-20. Just Melbourne has that one inside 50 mark. Just having a look at the defensive tackles there, 17-15, both tackling well. Inside 50 tackles, both defences holding up pretty good there. All right, let's get back down to the ground, ready for the action as we head on in to the second quarter.
Obviously, that's missing today, Harris. Liv Purcell, a big one that's missing out of the midfield, and Lauren Pearce as well. But I think the thing that I'm looking for is Paxi Paxman. She's had 5 intercept possessions for the game and a game-high 10 disposals. If there's someone that's going to be instructing the back line, it'll be Paxi.
And from a North Melbourne perspective, Darren Crocker keen to make sure they don't allow the Melbourne forwards quick supply, get up in their face, don't let them chain out of congestion. We saw Melbourne do it a couple of times. They're very good when they get that link game going.
They certainly are, and they won 2 forward half clearances. Both of them ended up in goals. So that's where their 2 goals came from. So that's the exact opposite of what they wanted to stop. North Melbourne wanted to stop Melbourne from doing. So if they get their handball game going. But the other thing that's been really impressive, they've made the ground really big. So they've looked to switch. A couple of times it's been a bit shaky. They've looked inside, but they're opening up the ground and making it harder for North Melbourne to just set up down the line and then transition.
Interesting contest, good tactical battle. Great start from North, and then Melbourne responded, got themselves back on level terms, and here's Nat with their coach, mixed it in.
Nick, what were the learnings from that opening term? Your defence really weathered the storm early.
Yeah, well, I only realised we only had 3 inside 50s, but the team looked threatening when they went inside. I think we can lift our physicality around the contest, give ourselves first use a bit more, but really happy with the teams using the way they're using the ball. We think it's giving us some good looks forward of the footy.
And you kept Alyssa Bannon for a little extra. What was your message to her?
Oh, yeah, just get her hands on the ball and let them defend you. I think she's a fantastic player, and, yeah, just head down and get her hands on the ball.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that.
Thanks to Mixtonia, one of just 2 original inaugural AFLW coaches, along with Craig Starcevich, been there for the entire 9 seasons. As we start the second term at Casey Fields with scores level, Heath had a couple of big moments in the first term. Mia King puts the tackle in on Tyler Hanks. Rennie the tap, well done Hall, swept through and sharked it towards half forward. Birch had front position on Gall. Bannon in there putting in the work. Goldrick over the top, then Bannon as we head boundary side to catch.
Yeah, Jace and Kate, just listening to the North huddle, they're really happy with the pressure and the contest, and just wants the team to slow it down a little bit and not overuse the corridors being an issue for them. So they just want to be able to spread it outside a little bit to get that ball into the forward line.
Thanks, Ketch. They link up here. Tripodi finds Rennie. The D's set up nicely behind the football. Gillard, Mackin, Lampard. Straight up the middle of the ground. Carney managed to work Goldrick under it. Gall arrived just in time to force a spillage, which she then claimed on the ground. Well done, King. Now releases Carney. Puts it out into space for O'Loughlin to run onto. Coming the other way, Gillard. Did well. Rode the tackle. Ships it back towards Goldrick. Hanks involved as well. They've paid the mark. I think Goldrick actually touched it. And now a 50 as a result from the miscommunication. They weren't expecting it to be paid, I don't think, Kate.
And Hanks didn't expect it to be paid either, so she started to look like she was going to play on. That's really tough on the North Melbourne player, Tripodi there. I would have loved to see that, just the mark reset. Everyone was a little bit unsure whether the mark was going to be paid. She wasn't moving on the mark or anything like that. That's a pretty harsh 50.
Yeah, you can see, have a look at the face of Tyler Hanks here, who turns and looks at the umpire and goes, oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it came off Goldrick's hands. So a chance here for Paxi Paxman. Kick her first of the season in game 75 this afternoon. Been one of the great players in AFLW history. It's going to drop short. Dangerous spot though, they haven't killed it. Zanker's still there, working against Craven. Ferguson comes in to put a tackle on Mackin. Heart and mouth stuff for Darren Crocker. Defence unable to get rid of that. That might be able to clear here. Quick kick back towards defensive 50, and they will get the exit mark for O'Loughlin.
That is a very important mark from O'Loughlin because they were set up very well behind the ball there, Melbourne.
To Craven, and now down the line to Shearlaw. territory and Randall, but she's outnumbered here. On the deck, tidied up by Garner. High kick, just sets it for a one-on-one. It's Gat versus McNamara. Now Bruton arrives, got the kind bounce, times two. Jenna Bruton with her first goal of the season. North regain the lead.
Well, you usually see that if you force North Melbourne to go long and wide, that you've won the contest, but they were the ones that were the front and centre, and the greatest thing to see after that goal, Jenna Bruton, everyone on the field came to her, all the defenders, all the way up. We all know the heartbreak of last year, the Achilles, the huge rehab she's had to put in to get back to this point, so great to see her hit the scoreboard.
One of the gun midfielders of the competition. Campbell tried to feed it out, but Simon immediately tackled by Gat. Campbell and Rennie lock up again as the umpire hits the turf. Garner ripped off her kick. Mithen goes down, wins the football, does it well to Campbell. She releases Heath. Good inside to outside for Melbourne. Can they capitalise? Gall needed to beat a couple in the air and did enough to get it down to Zanka, who lost her footing and then the football. Craven over the back of the contest. Lampard tracks it back. Colvin can use Mithen. Lily heads into the middle of the ground for Paxman. Now the sweeping run from the back from Chaplin to a one-on-one. Fitzsimon goes to ground. Gap can't pick up the football, so she wraps her up, but in the process gives away a free kick too high.
There's been some great one-on-ones in this game so far. They're really opening up the ground, both teams. Some great skills on show here.
Fitzsimon and Campbell, who thought about the handball. Now the Rainmaker kick up and under. Garner underneath it. Couldn't complete it. Goldrick. Ferocious tackle. Riddell thundered in.
Huge hit there. It's been good today, Goldrick, but it's been a very even matchup with, she's had a bit of time with Carney, a bit of time with Wright, a bit of time with Ferguson as well.
It's a nice tap backwards to Mithen from Campbell, but she couldn't beat the pressure. O'Loughlin tries to get past Heath and through it. Non-officiating umpire spotted it. There it is. Heath has it 55 out. Towards the top of the square. For the hands of Gall. Carney will link up with Gat. Goldrick put the pressure on Gat, felt her coming, affected the kick and the turnover the result.
Just couldn't get a hand on that one. O'Loughlin tried to, and then the bounce just evaded her, but some very good pressure. We've said it all afternoon, Goldrick, the pressure she puts, chasing down in the air, wherever the ball is.
Closing speed is a difference maker, isn't it? That's a lovely mark inside the fence from Garner.
Speaking of difference maker.
The ultimate difference maker, really, in this competition, isn't she?
Absolutely. When you just need something to happen for North, it's Jazz Garner taking that relieving mark.
She is the Swiss Army knife of AFLW. King, look out. Well done, Fitzsimon. Closed down the space, almost for Mithen. Flipped out. Hanks, if it sits. Immediately tackled by Wright. Ripped to ground. Riddell. Quick hands. Eddie changes the angles to Sheila, and now they're out through the middle of the ground. Bruton will go to a one-on-one. Randall against Gillard. Front and centre. Perfect roving from O'Loughlin. And she'll get a free kick for the push. That was a beautifully timed crump.
That was a beautiful passage of play, really. The work rate as well from O'Loughlin. She was the one on the mark here from that last touch free kick, worked all the way forward, and just how willing they are to share the football to the player that's in the better position. I would have loved to see Talia Randall initiate the contact on Gillard to then get the mark, but Alice O'Loughlin at full speed picks it up off the contest and now has an opportunity to go back and slot it.
5th season in the competition, it feels like she's really coming of age. Had a bone stress issue in season 7, had a career best 23. She finished 6th for the best and fairest. Kicked a couple of goals in the opening round and looked really good. And she's got another here. Alice O'Loughlin, grown in confidence, has all the tools. Darren Crocker knew from the start she had a very high ceiling with her speed and her endurance. She's developing beautifully in game 35.
So it's this handball chain through the middle of the ground. Bella Eddy getting involved. Kate Sheila just handing it out to Bruton, and it was a kick that was put not quite to the advantage of Randall, but O'Loughlin did the rest of the work and then just earned herself the free kick for a push in the back, and I think she was a bit lucky to get that one through, but they all count.
She's got a couple of metres on Lampard, and that's all she needed, Riddell. Beasley ripped off the handball. Riddell goes again with the toe poke. Beasley comes back for more. Riddell says sure. Garner finds her boot. Here's O'Loughlin again. Once again, a couple of metres on Lampard. Goes to ground, uses Bruton in support. From 50, pokes to the pocket, perfect for Sheila. So Kate Sheila, 40 out, tight angle. Eyes looking inside. Should go for it or set it up. The first two of the game. It's going to drop slightly short. Well done, Gillard in the front. Randall kept it alive. Still there for Garner. She tries to get it to Bruton. Well done, Gillard. Just threw a boot at it and saved the day.
It's like a goalie on the last line when there's a penalty and it goes the other way, but that was desperation. But a lot of space there for Talia Randall to work into, considering the amount of time that it had been held up. That was a lot of space in the goal square.
Randall at the front. His ball. She go herself, Vicky. Couldn't find her boot. It's still there for King to feed back to Riddell. Now Bruton. Well done by Chaplin. North just unable to find space to get the shot away. Good scrapping from the D's. It's North by a couple of goals. Free kick. They've paid one out to Amy Smith, who plays on, hands it off. O'Shea across the body. Randall in best position. Quick kick out is into a dangerous spot, as it so often is there, that blind duck kick. And Riddell in best position, and she's having herself a game. 14th touch coming up.
Well, it's 20 inside 50s to 9 at the moment in this game, and you cannot expect to allow North Melbourne that kind of territory and for it not to hurt you on the scoreboard. So, said before the game, she's starting to hit the scoreboard. Can she kick a third goal in a third game?
On its way. And steers it through. Ash Riddell of it, third goal of the season. North have started the second term like they started the first. Seized the early initiative.
Well, she's having herself a season so far. We measure in men's football, mids that can get forward and kick goals are worth their weight in gold, and it's even more important in the women's game. So that's 3 games for the season so far for Ash Riddell and 3 goals.
King got the tap. Beasley bustled off it by Mia King. As we head boundary side to Nat.
Conditions, we spoke about them down here at Casey pre-game. There wasn't much wind around. It has picked up slightly going to the left of the screen. But Ketchy, one thing I wanted to talk to you about is North Melbourne just seemed to be a little bit more purposeful when they're going forward and maybe a little bit deeper.
Yeah, they were talking about their shallow entries in the forward line, and that's what was really highlighted in the forward meeting when I went in the huddle. But now they're doing those really deep entries, and they're not rushing the ball as much, so they're trying to look for their tools, which is working.
To Nat the catch.
Just having a look at the second quarter stats, the big difference here, disposals. So they're plus 16 in disposals, so getting a lot more of the footy North Melbourne, but the uncontested possessions plus 13. So we know that that's a real measurable statistic when you're looking at North, with them spreading the ground, using their short kicks and getting those uncontested possessions on the outside.
King the tap to Eddie, who tried to get it back to King. Tripodi to Eddie again. Tripodi involved again. Wrapped up by Bannon. So can the D's fight back on the scoreboard after North have kicked away again? Handy little 3-goal lead here. So head towards half-time. Tripodi won't get through that traffic, but it does create an opportunity for Mia King. Pokes it inside 50. Colvin leads Rennie to the football. Won't sit for her. Will go again. This time it does. Can use the support of Chaplin. Wall almost stuck the tackle. It was enough to potentially force a turnover. Now O'Loughlin joins the pressure party. Colvin. Melbourne desperately trying to get it outside their own defensive 50. In the end, they get it to the line, but it's on the wrong side of the arc, and it'll be a North Melbourne ball.
Geez, that's great forward pressure from North Melbourne. Every single one of their forwards, talls or smalls, cracking in, putting pressure on the ball carrier and then resulting in a turnover.
Just hitting them in on the boundary line superbly. Riddell sets it up. Randall at the front. Wall and Lampard see it out. So 5.5 to play in the opening half of football. Part one of our Sunday doubleheader with Essendon and St Kilda to follow immediately after this game from Windy Hill. King got it down. Mithen tries to get away from Tripodi. Umpire calls for it. Watt against King. Watt on Chaplin. Tripodi put the pressure on. Mackin wrapped up by Smith. Another ball up. North just refusing to allow Melbourne to escape. Running onto it here is Eddie. Bends it back. Goldwood. Ryan Gillard just came over the top and belted it out of bounds.
This is superb defending, just didn't infringe, got up nice and high, and then the perfect place to punch it straight over the boundary line. Don't want that one going back into the corridor.
Again against King, who tries to get it down to Riddell. The pass just open up for Ash Riddell, and she kicks a second. And that's a result of that repeat pressure from North Melbourne, refusing to allow Melbourne to exit. And the Kangas out to a 4-goal lead.
Another goal from forward 50 stoppage, but you could just tell the stoppage before they got on the fly. Their mids were just running through, their forwards were running through, and Melbourne, they need to start goal side of them to keep them that side of the contest. Can't let players run through like Ash Riddell with no pressure on them, but we said she was good and worth her weight in gold, kicking 1, well, kicking 2.5 of football, as well as having the amount of football she's had. She's pulling out some game.
It's the next piece of her game, isn't it? She's kicked 4-1 for the season so far, coming in 10 goals, 24 in her career. She's had opportunities and haven't finished, but this year she's found her radar. And here she is again. Couldn't get an effective handball. Tripodi has had an influence. Bannon, she's swallowed up. Beasley in there scrapping hard for the D's. North just flexing their muscle in this second term. Totally dominating territory. He tried to knock it away from Garner. That works for Mackin into the path of McNamara. Pursued by Gatt, kicks across the body. Fingertip off of Goldrick, couldn't complete it. Carney wants to take her down, won't let her get to the line. Wasn't going to give her the easy out.
I love that matchup. That is a great battle, those two. Two ultimate competitors, clever footballers, and Carney will know Goldrick probably has her for pace, so she's going to have to out-body her and work her off the ball.
So Goldrick may actually have the tagging job on Carney as a defensive forward there. Just go wherever Emma goes. Just so dangerous and creative from half-back. So Rennie goes to Ferguson. Short option is Riddell. 18th touch for Ash to Bresnahan. Just right in the corridor. We'll go back to Ash Riddell. And now to right in the middle of the ground. D's just breaking down there defensively. They'd all push back. Birch has got an option out wide. Hangs the kick, but plenty of time for Smith. Next link in the chain, Bresnahan, who kept running. Dropped the mark, though. Campbell arrived. Bannon, the no-look handball, taken by Smith. Mackin, Chaplin, Bresnahan, squeezes the kick through, beats all comers with the bounce. Garner comes in high, gives away the free kick.
This is danger signs for Melbourne at the moment, the way that the North Melbourne team just chained that ball from their defensive 50 all the way through. There were players out everywhere. Except for a little mistake dropping that mark, they would have gone pretty much uncontested from D50 to forward 50.
Kick goes wide towards McNamara. It's perfect. And Eliza has the mark just inside the line. So often the important link player for the D's. So with 90 seconds to play, she'll come straight down the line to a pack of players. Gall at the front. Almost got over the back for Campbell. Goldrick nowhere to go and no room to work in. Carney fed it cleverly to Riddell. Now to Bresnahan. King was gone. It was Garner.
It's a great tackle from Shelley Heath, who obviously has the job on Jazz Garner today.
Kicks to 50. Zanka with 2 to beat in the air. Did enough to create a crumb for Goldrick, who feeds it back to Hanks. Wanted to go down the line to McNamara. Goldrick picks up the football. She'll drive it inside 50. Bannon in the air. Coming the other way is Mackin. Ball hits the ground. Mackin finds it. And then the Kangas find her.
Great work by Waheen Mackin then. Had to make the ball her own, went through and then made the contest in the air, but quickly jumped back onto her feet to then get the stoppage.
Zanka's tap. Bresnahan. Goldrick pitches it. Feeds out a handball. McNamara will get a look. Heads goalward. Can't sneak it in with the bounce. Takes a harsh left turn. And Ferguson links up with Smith. With 30 seconds left, Melbourne pressing for a late one. Bannon had smothered off her boot. Well done, Ferguson. Riddell another touch. Handball puts Smith under pressure. Melbourne trying to give North a taste of their own medicine with 20 seconds to go. Can they find a late one?
This would be worth a lot if Melbourne could get a goal here late.
Zanka out of the ruck, but it was off her knee. North will want to hold this in. Tripodi taken down. Zanka sockers it forward. Wright tried to flip it to Carney. Back to the line.
I think the siren might beat them, but if you're Melbourne here, you're trying to make as much space inside your forward 50 as you can. If you're North Melbourne, you're trying to clog it up as much as you can so that this is just a scrap.
Zanka over the back. Can Goldrick get a boot at it? Siren beats the D's. Good second term from North Melbourne. They responded. They kicked the first 2 goals of the game and Melbourne stepped up to match them. And in that second quarter, it was all Kangaroos. They kicked 4 unanswered goals, 4 straight in fact, to take control of the game. They lead by that margin at half-time, 6-1-37 to 2-1-13, the inside 50 count. Melbourne got a couple late to make it 8-6, but for much of that quarter it was played at North's end.
It was. So Melbourne started the quarter well, but North, ultimately it looked like a North Melbourne game the longer that quarter went on. But credit to Melbourne, every time that they've been sort of under the pump in this game, they've been able to fight back. Nearly got one late there.
Ash Riddell, 21 touches and a couple of goals in the first half. Nat, she's going okay.
She's going pretty well. I'll ask her about that in just a moment as she catches her breath. But Ash, what did you make of the first half?
Yeah, it was really good. It was obviously a lot better than last week. We were able to maintain the ball in our forward half for a lot longer than we did against Geelong. So, pleasing start, but there's 2 quarters to go.
Sure are. Now, coming into this season, you kicked 10 goals, 24. 4 goals won so far. Is that something you consciously worked on, your goal kicking?
Yeah, I've been really trying to work a lot on it. Obviously, we probably rely on Jasmine to kick a few goals from the mid, so it's nice to get involved too. But, yeah, definitely focus because first few years I kicked a lot of points. So,
go catch your breath and best of luck in the second half.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys.
What a gun she is, Ash Riddell. 21 touches, 2 goals in the first half. And at the main break, it is the Kangas by 4 straight kicks. They're 6-1-37. Melbourne 2-1-13.
Emma Carney and Shanae Goldrick. Now, this has been a really intriguing battle because Shanae is trying to play more of a defensive role today in that forward line, trying to keep Emma Carney in check. We know she can be so dangerous in driving the Roos off half-back. So far, she's had just the 8 touches and 1 mark. So I think Goldrick's doing a fairly good job. I look forward to seeing how that works out in the second half. What do the Ds need to do here?
I think the Ds need to bring people like Zenka in the game, Bannon. Those are attacking players that can really pull apart this game. They need to bring those players in the game. Kate Hall is doing everything she can. Mackin's having a really good game as well. Goldrick is having a good game even though she's on
Emma
Carney. Yeah. So yeah, that's what they need to do.
All right, over to you, Jace.
Second half action.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Here's Goldrick towards the top of the square. Well, that was her intention. Drifted a little further, sailed through for a minor score, so a chance for an early strike, just misses to the right for the Ds. Margin at 23 points. I'd love a good start here. Kate McCarthy just trying to start working their way back into the game.
Yeah, well, it's at the right end for them to be able to get some territory in this one. They need to bring this to ground and try and go again back inside 50, but Rennie, too good aerially. King it is.
So King will have it at defensive 50. High to the wing, Randall will be the target. Well done again by Gillard, just done a really good job down back today. Every time, Kate, she's just managed to get that defensive fist in as Randall looks like she's about to take a grab.
She's one of the hardest matchups, I think, if you're a key forward coming up against Melbourne. If Gillard picks you up, it's a very tough day at the office, and she's shown again why she is one of the best one-on-one defenders in the game.
Height, her athleticism, her reach, it's quite a package. Bresnahan, King steps the tackler, just gets away from Hall. And this time it's Gillard taking front spot against Randall and taking the grab. Looking for an option to the outer side of the ground. Working really hard to create that option was Paxman. Sprinted away from Eddie. He now closes. Paxman off a step, misses Lampard with the kick. Heat's got to turn around and track it. So Garner wins the football. Quick kick inside 50. Eddie beaten by the bounce. Shearlaw against Gillard. Ball spills out now to Melbourne's advantage. Mithen, Mackin, and now Paxman. Can they link up through the middle? Heath under pressure again. King, Garner, Bresnahan will get taken in a tackle by Bannon. Goldrick came in as well.
You can see what they're trying to do, Melbourne. They're trying to move the ball back through the corridor, take some really attacking options, but it's just been their execution that's let them down the last couple of kicks, and especially in the first half, just hanging in the air too much or missing that kick, which means North Melbourne have a chance to come in and turn the ball over.
Miscommunication between Campbell and Paxman. They both thought the other was going for it. In the end, Campbell was able to get back and flip it to Paxi. Ball's underneath that pack, ball up. Tack almost read by Kate Hall. Craven tried to punch it forward. Bruton turns tackler. Hall against Craven.
So they're sending the extra up to the stoppage, Melbourne, but it's not really resulting in stoppage clearance. So what they're doing is they're giving North Melbourne the +1 defensively. So if a quick kick comes out of the pack, North are in very good shape. So Kate Hall's the one that's going up to the contest, needs to get on the fly here so that they can get some ascendancy at this clearance.
Handball missed Lampard though, and away goes Wall. Finds her boot towards half forward. Gillard again in front spot against Randall. Shearlaw may have just dislocated the finger, I think. Bruton. Heath turns tackler on Riddell. Garner taken down. Spills to Mithen. Pops it over the top, was looking for Hall. Busting through the other way, Bresnahan. Riddell back to King. Hall's got her. Good pressure.
Great pressure from both teams at the moment. Really just getting in, both teams trying to win it at the coalface and come back through. And yeah, looking at that replay, definitely the tip of Kate Shearlaw's finger just on the football.
King to Eddie, to Mia King. There's Randall again. Gillard just got the fist in, umpire said this time. She came in over the top. Free kick over the shoulder. Talia pleads her case, but here's another look.
Yeah, just infringed over the shoulder. The spoiling arm just came down and got Randall high, and that was a result of the kick going perfectly to her advantage and her protecting the drop zone.
Randall just sets it up. Colvin jumped early in the end. Got her to her move way too early. Free kick Sheila, a chance to go back and kick a third.
That was pretty sloppy. The ball had cleared the pack. Sheila wasn't even going to go for it. She'd mistimed the jump or the reading of the footy, and then I think that really surprised Colvin and ended up putting two hands right in the back.
Last thing Kate Sheila's fingers were hoping for was a football coming in. But her boot has found the football for a third. Three goals to Kate Sheila. We spoke about North Melbourne's talls and just how dangerous they can be. Randall's had a lot of hit-up work. Gillard's done a good job, and it's been Sheila's turn so far today. She's kicked the 3 goals. And the margin now at 29 points. And Sheila to the bench to get some attention on that finger.
Well, we were saying how good the matchup has been, how good Gillard has played, but you can't take anything away from Randall. She's kept resetting, she's kept leading up. It's been a really tough day for her to get any separation from Gillard, but by keeping on competing, she's earned herself the free kick, passed it off to Sheila, who earned herself the free kick, and then went back and finished.
It's a lovely tap from Emma King to Mia King. Carney got rid of Mithen. Bouncing football beat Bruton. Here's O'Loughlin coming through. Tripodi. Inside 50. Rennie couldn't complete the grab. Mackin is going to get taken down by Vicky Wall, holding the football. As we head down to Nat.
Well, Kate Sheila kicked her 3rd goal. The most goals she's ever kicked is 4 goals. That came in round 1, season 7 against Sydney. So looking to equal that here today.
Thanks, Nat. Kate Sheila once kicked 6 goals in a grand final for the Wimbledon Hawks when she was working over there for the UK as an accountant. Sent that videotape to Carlton on YouTube, and that's how she ended up in the AFLW in the first place. Vicky Wall chips the kick across the face for a minor score.
Vicky Wall just adds so much aggression in that forward line. They really lacked that real dominant pressure forward last year, and her coming straight back into the team has been phenomenal for them. They've been able to lock the ball in, and she's laid some very important tackles, and even just things she won't get stats for, smothers or pressure acts as well. She's been fantastic today.
Chaplin's kick goes long, was looking for Zanka. Comes out off the contest between Eden and Libby Birch.
Get really caught up on statistics and disposals. If you look at Vicky Wall's game, 3 disposals, but the pressure she's put on the football, and that's the same as all of the small forwards from North Melbourne and Melbourne equally. It's not always about how many touches of the football you get, it's how you can impact apart from that.
O'Shea will get there first. Bannon tries to close her down. She'll use Birch, who chips towards right. Kick needed to be good because the pack converged quickly. And away come the D's now. Fitzsimon punches a handball through. Pisano taken down in a tackle. Didn't have the football. Umpire says play on. Piley and ball up, 40 out.
And again, just that skill error. There's been 4 or 5 times where the last handballs just let them down, or it's gone behind the player, or the kick's hung in the air too much. Just lacking a little bit of polish, Melbourne.
Lovely tap down to Tripodi. Chaplin against Wall. Wall gets rid of her, swooping in there. Well done, Colvin. Mithen. Chaplin. Over the head of Bannon. First to get back there will be O'Shea. Bannon arrives now. Birch under pressure. Riddell smothered off her boot by Mackin. It came back to Hanks, who's immediately tackled.
You can feel them starting to build here, Melbourne. A bit more pressure on the football. They're starting to ramp up their tackles, try and get some ball in their front half.
Rennie at the front. Hanks. Here's Goldrick. Tries to spin through the Craven tackle. Managed to get the hands free to Mithen. Swings it across her body. Pisano. Gives it off to Hawke. Wright got involved to break it up. It's still there. Pisano lays a tackle. And that pressure continues to build.
Jace, you coached Alyssa Pisano. What was your nickname for it?
She's known as Tiger. No time to explain right now. We'll come back to it. Carney to the line. She turned up to under-12s training, and there were 30 girls. We didn't know any of them, so they all needed nicknames. She was wearing a whole bunch of Richmond gear, so Tiger it was, and that name stuck for the next 7 or 8 years. We're simple folk. Throw in. Zanka works to the front. Forward towards the boundary line. Can't keep it alive.
Good little battle going on between Carney and Hoare there. Hoare got her in a very good tackle. Both just conceding that they've had a pretty good matchup, a pretty good day, but can Kate Hoare or another small forward for Melbourne get on the move at this stoppage? Tyler Hanks is on her own. She's got a fair bit of space there.
Rennie to the front. Rennie turns tackle as well, so North Melbourne tidy here, unrelenting. Melbourne just can't wrestle free and get a shot.
Tyler Hanks is still on her own the last 3 stoppages, so you can just see her setting up at the back of the clearance here, still completely unmanned. So's Lily Mithen.
Now it gets to Hanks at the back. She does find her boot. Can she find a target? Bouncing football, Birch crunched. And Melbourne fan, look at Shelley Heath, was more than happy to come and put a little bit extra on against her old teammate Libby Birch, is on the bottom of that pack. Shelley Heath seized the opportunity. Umpire throws it up quickly. Quick kick from Bruton. Over the head of O'Loughlin, it bounces back to her. Temperature in this game just went up a couple of notches. Can North hit them on the counter? Emma King will just thump it long. The D's have got numbers back. Gillard, awkward one. Wall takes her down. She didn't have the football. Play on the call. They kind of tackled each other. Chaplin weaves her way through. Punches a kick to half forward. Well done, Wright. Got the fist in. Got it away from Kate Hoare. Here's Birch. Kate Hoare takes her down. There's Libby Birch. Crunched. Here's the first one.
Feeling in a bit of this now.
Alyssa Bannon. And in came Shelley Heath. And Kate Hoare makes her earn it. Watt bounces inside 50. Well done, Gabb. Look out. Beat the first tackler. Couldn't beat the second. And an opportunity that Melbourne have been building towards for the last 4 or 5 minutes. McNamara, can she hit a target? No, she can't. Awkward bounce. Pisano there. Fitzsimon there. Riddell did well. And Tripodi can clear. Well played, North Melbourne. Their defence stood up to extended pressure. It's still under pressure, really. They're in their front half. Melbourne are swarming. Watt, she's tackled by King. Umpire said that tackle lingered. It's going to come back in for the D's.
So they're doing everything right here in Melbourne. They're really putting the pressure on, being able to get some entries, but they're unable to get the score on the board here.
Watt bombs it inside 50 off the hands of Rennie. O'Shea was slick. Carney's going to take them on by run here. She's going to be confronted by Goldrick. Pops a handball. Goldrick did a great job stopping her coming past. O'Loughlin, high kick. Randall versus Gillard, and Gillard again.
Love the point you made then, Jace. That was really good from Goldrick, making sure Carney didn't get that second handball back, but didn't do it in a way that gave away a 50-metre, because, you know, if you hold that player, it's 50 metres. So now they're on the counter-attack here.
Bold kick inside. And the D's attack up the middle. Through Hill to a one-on-one. Ferguson got the fist away from Hall. Garner, Riddell. North probing again. Wall versus Chaplin. Some power in that contest, and Vicky rips her to the deck.
Well, North Melbourne's defence is simply impassable here this afternoon. Wright, Ferguson, the combination of them both.
Quick hands, Riddell. Randall got a hand to it. Craven came in. Was she taken high? Colvin will clear. Fitzsimon. She needs an exit. That's not the option she was looking for. Rennie takes it on the chest. So Kim Rennie, 55 out. Randall provides a lead. Floats the kick. Off the hands of Campbell. Tripodi taken down by Heath. King, nowhere for her to go as we head to Nat.
Raheem Mackin is just waiting to come back on for Melbourne. She came off with a left calf concern. The physio's had a look. She's had it strapped, done some run-throughs. Doesn't look overly comfortable, but ready to come back on.
It's Nat as Rennie came over the top. Goldrick taken down by Riddell. Craven takes down Heath. Tripodi feeds it to Riddell. Fitzsimon takes her down. Since those couple of Libby Birch incidents at the other end, the intensity in this game has just gone up a couple of notches.
Certainly has, and North have done everything they've needed to weather the storm. Now they've got it back inside their forward 50.
Was Beasley taken high? I said yes, she was. Free kick to Grace Beasley. Sets a task here for Hill. He's going to have a couple of runners to beat here, and O'Loughlin will get her. Turns inside. Goes towards Shearlaw. Gets through the hands of Colvin. Shearlaw, another opportunity. Beasley came crashing through. King to Shearlaw. Pokes it through. It might work for Gat. Gillard got there just in time. Fitzsimon with nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Randall in the ruck. They're trying to decide who's going for Melbourne. Nominated ruck is Campbell. Well done, Randall. Takes it from the ruck. Snaps it goalward. Shearlaw heads out in pursuit. Tries to get a bounce. Instead, she'll get a stoppage.
On that play before, another extremely important fist from Talia Gillard going back with the flight. Both defences so far this afternoon have been very, very strong, making it very hard for both teams to score. And look how well North Melbourne is set up behind this football at the moment.
Real defensive struggle. Just the one goal this quarter to North Melbourne. That's it. Tripodi. He's Gat. Looks inside. Can Bannon get there? Force the spoil on O'Shea. She can. O'Loughlin put the head down, tried to work her way through some traffic. McNamara finds the ball, gives it to Mithen. Spins through a tackle. Just got the handball away in time. Hanks to McNamara, being hunted by Craven and Bresnahan. Bresnahan got her high. Free kick, Eliza McNamara. Brings it back inside, but turns it over to Randall. McNamara came in to try and make amends. Tripodi over the top. Quick kick from Riddell's going to work for Shearlaw. And Kate can go back and kick for goal number 4.
I said when the last footy was inside forward 50 for North, how well they were set up behind the ball. McNamara, as soon as she looked up, there was +3 North Melbourne players ahead, had to invent something with the kick, and you can see they've tried to be so bold and brave with their ball movement today, Melbourne, but as I said earlier, it's just lacked the polish.
It's Kate Shearlaw. It's got 3 straight for the afternoon. Make it 4. Been the dominant force on the ground. Four of the 8 goals for North Melbourne coming the way of Kate Shearlaw.
That's now 5 goals, 3 from turnover, and just want to look if we can see it here, just how well they are set up behind the ball. So in front there was +3 North Melbourne players, so had to kick it back inside to invent something, didn't quite execute the skill, and then when you turn the ball over there, it's very, very hard to defend. So that's now 32 points they've conceded from turnover, Melbourne.
4 goals to Kate Shearlaw. Moves up to second in the goal-kicking table. Still plenty of time. King in the ruck against Campbell. Kate Hawke wouldn't quite get the bounce, and Mia King wraps her up.
It's funny with the 1-2 punch, Jace.
Speaking of 1-2 punches.
Last year it was Randall that got the goals. She was the dominant force, with Shearlaw doing a lot of the hard work but not often hitting the scoreboard as a result. But this year it's completely reversed. Randall getting the best defender, having a really tough day with Gillard, but Shearlaw being the one that gets out.
McNamara tried to spin through. Smith was taken down. Lampard receives. Campbell flips. Beasley, good tackle. Bresnahan. Umpire says play on, got a handball away. Smith comes in and lays a tackle.
And you just feel like North are like that. If Riddell doesn't get you, Garner does. If Shearlaw doesn't get you, Randall does. If Carney doesn't get you, one of their other halfbacks like Gat or anyone else does. So they just have such depth in their football club.
Shearlaw now thrown back late in the term, having an impact down there. Ripped away by Gall. Bresnahan. He's so physical today, Bresnahan. In a game that's really called for it. And a lot of inside battles. Campbell. He's looked quite good in the ruck. Georgia Campbell getting opportunity, obviously the injury issues for Lauren Pearce. Only playing her 12th game this afternoon.
And Georgia Gall also ahead of the ball hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity, but when it has come in, she's often been outnumbered 2-on-1, and she's done really well to just bring it to ground.
So just one goal for the term. Both teams threw everything at each other on the inside in that quarter. Things got a little spicy. And North Melbourne extend their lead with a couple of goals to go from 4 goals up to 6 goals up. Part 2 of our doubleheader coming up. Straight after this game, we'll go to Windy Hill. It's Essendon and it's St Kilda. Super Sunday.
fight and believe. They said that they've done this at training. Fight and believe. That's what they want for this last quarter.
Thanks, Ketch. Here we see Talia Gillard in the ruck. There's Goldrick wrapped up.
Don't mind that, but she's doing such a great job defensively. That might free up Talia Randall to get some scoreboard pressure on here as well.
Mixed in here, I guess, prioritising around the source, throwing Gillard in there, hoping she can make a difference to their midfield mix.
Definitely, but I would feel that that's a bit of a win. I'd see that as a big opportunity if I was Talia Randall with some of the clearances they've been able to get today in North Melbourne. So can she start to hit the scoreboard or get on the scoreboard now that she's really been able to, I guess, lose the best defender in the game so far?
King, now Garner wrestles Hanks to the ground. King got the tap down to Garner. Flipped it to Mia King. Lovely step. Well done, Hanks. Smothered it off her boot. Pokes the kick forward. It works for Mithun. She played on. Carney got a piece of her. Goldrick in there scrapping against Riddell. Carney in over the top.
So statistically looking at the hit-outs, it's pretty... Emma King's had 25, but 9 to advantage. Grace Campbell had 14, also having 9 to advantage. So it's not like she's getting dominated in there by any means with the ruck, but the clearance is definitely in favour of North Melbourne.
King trying to use her strength against Gillard. Quick kick will work for Craven in the middle of the ground. She punches the handball forward. Riddell just breaks away from the stoppage, creates something inside 50 and finds Randall. So Talia Randall, opportunity to go back and kick her first of the afternoon. Ash Riddell just in perpetual motion.
So that's the issue you create. They've obviously thrown Talia Gillard into the ruck to try and get some dominance there, but now she's come off Randall, who's been held pretty quiet by Gillard, some brilliant defending, but now she has the opportunity to kick a goal.
30 out, directly in front. It's drifted left. Sits at 37 points, early going final term. Part one of our doubleheader this afternoon. Essendon and St Kilda to follow from Windy Hill straight after this game. One ball in. Aldrich competed in the air and then on the deck and then won the football but ran straight into Emma King. Umpire says holding the ball.
Not sure as I'm lucky not to earn herself a high contact for that second part of the tackle.
Mia King will drive it back inside 50. Floating kick. Gets over the top of all comers to the back. Grace Hill sees it over the line for a minor score. Lampard takes no time. Plays on quickly. Searching kick to the outer side. That's perfect for Chaplin. What a beautiful kick that was from Lampard. Chaplin uncertain of her options, so she'll go long to the wing. Ball at the front, well done. Ferguson got it to ground. Carney grits the teeth, but cops it up. Back. High kick towards half forward. Zanka's got it. No one inside 50 at all, but look at those numbers streaming in. They're all North Melbourne. They get the 3 players goal side in really quick time, and that's a lovely hit up as they push deep. The kick went short from Zanka. Hoare had the same idea, but stubbed her toe. Carney, King, look out. Well done, McNamara. Will be rewarded. That was an interesting forward foray. A few levels to that to unpack.
Yeah, it was really nice composure from Zenka. A lot of the time when you've let up and you know that there's some space out the back, you can be really keen to throw it on the boot quickly, but just did everything she could. Let her forwards reset. Kate Hall let up, had the right idea, and then McNamara again, really good pressure around the footy, earned herself the free kick.
Kicked a goal in the first term. Now at the other end, can she squeeze it inside the left post? It's off hands. Minor score. He's still searching for a goal since the opening term. There you have it, 50 minutes of game time. Carney. Shaw. Bruton. Mia King off a step. Paxman in good position, just floated on the breeze over her head. She's got a couple of pursuers. First is O'Loughlin, beats her, gives it off to Lampard, who worked hard. Now Mackin's under some pressure though. Lampard puts the tackle on Garner. Mackin now has Amy Smith sweating on her, and in the end, the boundary line. Out of bounds on the full, it's come off a boot inadvertently. It's going Melbourne's way, so Laheen Mackin rather got out of jail there.
It's been that post-clearance ground ball that North have just completely dominated so far in this game. You've got your initial clearance, the ball goes out of that, and then they're front and centre or running through in waves at every next clearance.
And he tried to spin away from Hanks. Easier said than done. Free kick, Tyler Hanks. Looks inside. Bold kick again, and Craven read it nicely. She'll then continue the switch to North's advantage. Shearlaw has got Emma King as the deepest forward. So she'll throw it up in the air for Emma. It'll get all the way over the back. Was nicely read by Eddie. She uses Bruton, and Jenna goals. 2 goals for Jenna Bruton. It's turning into a very handy percentage boost for North Melbourne early in the season. The margin now out to 43 points. Jenna Bruton with a couple of goals. A bit like Ash Riddell, another to add that to her bow would make her even more dangerous.
So Bruton definitely played more of a small forward role the last couple of weeks, obviously coming back from that Achilles injury, but it's a hard role to play, but not for Jenna Bruton. She's gone straight in and kicked 2 goals this week, and Kate Shearlaw's been phenomenal in this game. She's taken a number of marks, had a lot of disposals in the forward half, and just read that beautifully, saw the space out the back, kicked the ball to it.
Jenna can add that layer to her game. She's only kicked 6 goals, 9 in her first 66 games until today. She's booted a couple forward.
Oh, I dare say if she spends more time as a small forward, she's going to hit the scoreboard a lot more often.
Eddie tries to get away from McNamara. Just got the handball out. Carney flips it. Smith wanted to get it forward to Riddell. Good pressure from the D's. Watt in the ruck against Rennie. Goldrick can't get the arm free. Riddell's got it pinned and will be rewarded.
So that's the change in the interpretation when you have that one arm free, that the umpires want to see you trying to get everything you can to get that boot to ball or get the ball disposed of.
Riddell towards the pocket. Hill got there first. Carney takes the contact. It was high. So it's going to be a free against Lily Mithen to Emma Carney. .45 out, right on the boundary line.
We're watching the leading lanes here, looking for a little hit up.
There it is. Goes to her partner, Kate Shearlaw, who can kick for goal number 5.
She was always the one that when I was playing at St Kilda with Kate, I loved passing the ball off to her inside 50 in those situations because she'd always offer such a great lead. She'd be chest out and just really draw your attention.
Well, this really would cap off a red letter day for Kate Shearlaw. 5 of the best. What a performance from Kate this afternoon at 35 years young.
Yeah, just look at all this space she had to work into. Could tell that leading lane that was open. It's just that little tick up there. So leading her defender back to goal and then ticking straight back up on them, and couldn't help but notice Emma Carney's wry smile as she was running off.
It was a beaming smile,
I think she's going to tell her all about it. Well, you kicked 5, but you would only had 4 if I didn't lace you out inside the forward 50 late in the game.
5 goals for Kate Shearlaw. It's a 49-point lead as Rennie fisks it forward. Beasley first onto it, off to Chaplin. High towards half forward, Bresnahan. In slides Hoare. O'Shea there as well. They lock up. So it's under 8.5 minutes to play at Casey Fields. We're off to Windy Hill straight after this for Essendon and St Kilda. As round 3 of AFLW continues. McNamara tried the quick give. Mithen got it to Fitzsimon. Bends it across the body. It gets past Wright. It gets past Birch. Gathered in by Pisano. Can she get the hands free? Dished it off to Beasley, who bends at goal work and bounces through. Her first goal in AFLW. Grace Beasley. Great story. Played footy as a junior at East Malvern and a few games at Caulfield Grammarians as well. She chose basketball over footy. Spent 6 years playing college ball, Midland College, Washington, Montana State, Northern Arizona. Ready to come home. Dee signed her as an SSP player this season. She's back in footy. She's kicked her first AFLW goal.
Well, it's a good club, that Caulfield Grammarians, Jace.
In the Ammos.
You love to see that, but it was two of their youngsters really linking up. Pisano just took the game on, wore the contact, but then was strong enough as a big-bodied forward coming in to get the handball out. And Beasley did the rest of the job, but that was important. They haven't scored a goal in the whole second half of this game.
A lifter for the D's. First goal for Beasley, and she's away again. Towards half forward. Zanker and Birch. Zanker gets the bounce, flips it up. Mackin pokes it inside 50, but Mia King in best position. Thought about O'Shea with the switch. Takes the shorter option. Pisano cuts it off. Alicia puts the tackle in on King. Affects the kick. Carney there. Mackin puts the pressure on there, and in comes Mithen on Mia King. It's been one area of the game Melbourne has been good at today, that forward 50 pressure. They've worked really hard, just haven't had enough opportunities with it, getting it down there.
That's it, so plus 19 forward 50s to North Melbourne, but you're right, when they have had the ball there, they've looked desperate, they've been able to create contests, get the ball on the ground and then scrap and fight and keep it there.
Well, Beasley was out there, but I think she doesn't have a right boot at this stage, so she wanted to duck back onto her left, straight into traffic, and Mia King was waiting with open arms. It's the short pass to Gatt. Such a workhorse. Taylor Gatt up and down that wing all afternoon. Speaking of workhorses, Ash Riddell, possession 31. Sarah Wright, as Riddell came past. Instead, Wright goes to the outside for Birch. Chips to Mia King.
And it's always been the 1-2 punch with Riddell and Garner, but now you look at the numbers that she's getting and she's hitting the scoreboard, so it becomes a factor of who do you tag when you're coming up against North Melbourne.
King coughed it up to Hoare, who then coughed it up herself to O'Shea, who gets it inside 50. Randall strives to get there, can't quite, frustrated. It's been one of those almost days for Talia Randall.
She's done her job, though. I know it might not feel like she's had a whole lot of personal success in this game, but she won't mind. She's been able to open up Kate Sheila, her other key forward down there, who's kicked 6. In this team, you can see that they all just work for each other. It's the ultimate success, which is the team success.
Fitzsimon won't be able to escape the Emma King tackle. In the tap, McNamara uses the body well, but Craven arrives, pinches it, flipped it to Riddell. These have got numbers here again. Fitzsimon got it out to McNamara. Once again, the pressure comes quickly. King, Craven, Fitzsimon underneath it, nudges it in the Beasley direction. Eventually, the umpire calls for it. A lot of hard work in the clinches this afternoon from both teams. Free kick over the shoulder. It's going to Emma King. King, of course, the third of that triumvirate, really. You can throw Kim Rennie in as well. There's 4 of them. They've got 4 options, tools that they can rotate around in different structures to try and exploit the opposition.
And 4 players, as we see the free kick, just a bit of a clumsy over the shoulder, but all 4 of them are so versatile. They can play at any end of the ground, in the middle, wherever you want them to.
It's quite a weapon for Darren Crocker. King will set this up, top of the square. Randall's in the middle of that pack. Nicely done, Fitzsimon. Oh, and then sells the dummy beautifully on Craven. And then the kick was perfect to McNamara. You see some of the skill there and class of Megan Fitzsimon. McNamara has been tireless this afternoon. Gets underneath this kick a little. Bannon will be forced to spoil. Mithen waiting for it at the front. Hanks Confronted by Craven. Punch to handball. Beasley's got to be quick. She's strong through the body. Just escaped Shearlaw. Kick to the middle of the ground. Right in best position. Can pop the handball over the top to Gat. Now Carney. Pisano in pursuit. Carney sizzles it inside 50. It's punched away well by Colvin. Almost onto the chest of Randall. Carney will come again. Wins the football. Tried to flip it to Riddell. It's picked off by Paxman. Now to Hall. Looking for an option. That wasn't it. She's run down. Advantage paid. Picked up by O'Loughlin. She heads goalward and finishes with her second. So North Melbourne streaming inside 50. They create the turnover themselves, and O'Loughlin on the spot. Marching back to 49. So take a look at North Melbourne's 11th goal. Let's hit boundary side. Nat Edwards.
Yeah, Libby Birch, she's just on the bench. You can see her there, North Melbourne defender, obviously recruited from Melbourne in the off-season. Just having some issues with that left sort of collarbone, maybe AC joint after she was crunched in that tackle in the third term. So just keeping an eye on her. She's been with the doctors and physios for a fair while now.
Thanks to Nat. Mia King, high kick. Bounced into Brute, picked up by Garner. Hooks it inside 50, bouncing ball in front of Randall. Does the body work on Gillard superbly. Craven's kick inside 50. On the bounce, gathered by Shearlaw, gives it off. Well done, Hanks. High kick, may come back. Bresnahan, that's a really well-judged mark in the breeze.
Big bump for Gillard. Wouldn't be surprised if they check that one because she looked very bad after that ball came through.
Randall up again and almost marked for Talia. Ball up in the pocket.
Just going back to that previous goal, the Alice O'Loughlin goal, you said during the call, Jace, that Kate Hoare didn't know where to go. That's because North again set up so well in defence. She had absolutely no one to kick the ball to.
Campbell, dangerous tap to the top of the square. Hanks punches the handball to McNamara. Floats the kick, and that's a good mark taken by Georgia Gall.
I've been impressed by her game. It's been really tough as a tall forward to have a whole lot of footy, but any time she's been in the contest, she's halved it or she's won it.
Pisano goes to Goldrick. So strong, keeps her feet. Weaving away, but ran straight into traffic. Handball picked off by Ferguson. Here's Gall again. McNamara to Hanks as we hit the 2-minute mark. Awkward one for Bannon on the half volley, so she slapped it back to Hanks cleverly, who then the fadeaway handball to McNamara, but only one player back, it's Carney. She can launch
just
up
lost
the middle.
all forward structure at times today, Melbourne. That time they had absolutely no one to kick the ball to.
Garner to King, she ran into Mackin coming the other way. Blaheen then wins the football, pokes it forward cleverly. Pisano, she tries to poke it through to Beasley. Hoare against Mia King, slap to Beasley, now to Bannon, uncertain of her option, nothing to kick to either. Hanks will go wide and they can at least get a mark. McNamara pops it over the top. Goldrick, one option, it's the short option and it's the right option. It's Gall. Has she got the range from 45? Playing game number 3 this afternoon of her AFLW career, originally from Euroa and Geelong Grammar and Seymour and Murray. An elite cricketer, squares it to the top of the arc for Chaplin.
It was a crafty kick from Goldrick. If she blazed away, it was going to go straight to North Melbourne, lowered the eyes.
So Chaplin sets it up, needs a flyer. Bannon provides the aerial support. Ferguson. Melbourne get a stoppage inside the final minute, close to goal.
I'm just talking about Melbourne's forwards being way too high up the ground. That's what happens when one team's had 44 inside 50s, the other's had 21. You feel like as a forward you need to get up the ground to impact.
Garner high kick. Shearlaw puts a punctuation on her day. She's kicked 5. Takes a good defensive mark inside her back 50. Into the path of O'Loughlin. McNamara wants to take her to the line. Ball still there. Final 25 seconds of the game. McNamara saw there. She's going to come straight off. Fortunately, she's near the bench.
Jace, Melbourne's defence has conceded 70 points today. That's actually the largest points that they've ever conceded in their AFLW history.
Thanks, Nat. It's a telling stat, isn't it? Jeez.
Goes a bit of both ways as well. The potency that North
correct.
Melbourne have in attack, and then also some, I guess, defensive concerns for Melbourne as well.
They've kicked 11-4 from 44 inside 50s. North make it 45, and there could be time for one more. 10 seconds. Wall runs onto it. Will she go herself? Feeds it inside. O'Loughlin. Melbourne's defence closes. Alice finds her boot. Can she find the goal? She can. No, touched. Right on the final siren. The Kangaroos have made an early season statement. They've beaten the last two AFLW premiers in the opening 3 weeks of the season. Scores will level at quarter time, but from that time onwards, North Melbourne flexed their muscle. They kicked 9 goals 4 to 1 goal 2 in a really impressive performance. Let's head down to Nat Edwards.
I have Libby Birch with me here. Libby, you spent a large portion of that final quarter on the bench. Is your arm okay? What is it, collarbone?
Yeah, I just copped a few heavy knocks in the third quarter. It's ex-teammate love, I guess. But no, we had a great team performance today. I'm so glad we could get it done in such great passion against the D's.
How did you feel coming into this game? Were there some nerves and some anxiety maybe?
Oh yeah, it's always highly emotional coming up against your old side, but I'm so proud to be in these colours, and I'm really excited that we got the win today and we got another 4 points on the board.
Well, congratulations on the win. I hope your shoulder's okay.
Thanks.
A massive win for North Melbourne here at Casey Fields. On the other side of this, we'll hear the Roos song.
Well, there we go, folks. Another great game there. North Melbourne doing his job today, proving way too classy for Melbourne. 11-5-71, defeating Melbourne 3-3-21. 50-point victors to North Melbourne there at Casey Fields there in Melbourne. Fantastic game. Fantastic effort there by North Melbourne. Just what we come to see, how they perform. They're looking pretty strong for this season of AFLW. Let's just round this out by looking at the disposal getters on the ground, and the highest disposal getter was Ash Riddle with 32. Fantastic there for North Melbourne, 18 kicks, 14 handballs, 3 marks, 10 tackles. Great job, Ash. Jasmine Garner, 27. Best for Melbourne, of course, was Eliza McNamara with 22, 15 kicks, 7 handballs, 5 marks, 10 tackles as we go down the board. See your favourite player. And thank everyone for coming in today as we just scroll down here. Game day, this game between Melbourne and North Melbourne. Next game we've got up for grabs is Essendon taking on St Kilda there at Windy Hill. That'll be coming up in just a few moments' times, folks. There we go. That is the stats, just as we have a little bit of a look at the poll. Of course, we put the poll up who's going to win this game. And of course, we had 14 votes. 71% said North Melbourne. Well done to all those who voted North Melbourne. 28% went for Melbourne. But the chat, well, you got it right again. Well done, team. Well done, everyone. Let's just actually run through the disposals Of course, it was 40 more disposals to North Melbourne, 23 more kicks, 16 more handballs. Inside 50s, North Melbourne absolutely dominated there. 45 inside 50s to 21. Free kicks, 20 to 13 to North Melbourne. Let's have a listen to the song.
Beneath the blue and white we stand, we shout your flags out, nations play North Melbourne, North Melbourne. Out we come, out we come, out we come to play. Just recreation, take past our way. Lots of fun, here's one to race of the day. North Melbourne, you're the heart of me when they come out to play. So, join in the chorus and sing it one and all. Join in the chorus, North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, the champions you'll agree. North Melbourne will be ready, yes, just you wait and see.
That wraps up our coverage from Casey Fields. On behalf of Kate, Nat, Kent, our entire production team, thanks for watching. Stick around. Essendon and St Kilda next as Super Sunday continues.
All right, folks, that's all we've got for this game. Thanks all for coming in. We're going to head over to the next game now. If you want to listen into that game, there's going to be an absolute ripper, of course. That's Essendon taking on St Kilda AFLW action here. So we're going to end this live and we'll start a new live with that game coming up right now. All right, folks, thanks all for coming in. Ciao for now. We'll see you in the next live.